So I just wanted to share with you what our family basket slash morning basket looks like. It definitely changes every year. So my kids are, well, I have five. One is in public school as a junior this year, but I also have a eighth grade-ish, ninth grade-ish boy who is 13, and then a just turned 12-year-old sixth grade girl, fourth grade girl, and she's 9, almost 10. And then my youngest is 6, and I consider him kindergarten as much as I would consider a homeschooler in a grade. So I feel like every year our family basket slash morning basket, whatever you want to call it, we used to call it morning basket, but because we're no longer always doing it in the morning, I have changed that name to family basket time. But anyway, we used to always start it in the mornings, but it just seems like it changes every year. It always changes anyway because of what we're doing that year. So we may, we've done Bible together as a family, we've done Bible separately. So just different things. So I just wanted to share with you what we've used this year, what we've loved. It's definitely my favorite part of our homeschool is because it's when we're all gathered together and it's our relaxed time, I feel like, and it's the time that everybody enjoys. So I'll show you little bits and pieces of everything that we've done. So I always do our history read alouds during our basket time. We use Tapestry of Grace, and so there's a lot of literature, a lot of reading in that. So if we're doing presidents, I have a president book I read from. So I always conclude it in that time as well. We always start with World Watch news. I know that's a pretty big common thing for us homeschoolers to watch and participate in. It's only 10 minutes, so it's excellent. We love to start with that. We also recite a poem. Everybody's got some sort of poetry that they've been working on memorizing, or a lot of them, even the older ones, like to share a poem that they have had memorized since they were like six or seven. It just depends on the day. We take prayer requests and pray for our day. Then we kind of jump into it. And it, like I said, it changes. We don't do all of these books or curricula or whatever you want to say every time we do a morning basket time, but we try to rotate. I don't really have like a loop schedule or anything that I try to follow. It's just like, hey, these are here. We want to do a next lesson of it. So let's get started. The first thing that I'm going to show you, we haven't finished at all, most of this. We haven't finished, but it's Living Healthy, and this has been great. So I bought everybody a book. It's recommended 4th through 6th grade, I think, from Master Books, and we're not that far into it, but it's been really simple. It's super short lessons that we just read aloud as a family. There's a Bible verse to copy. There is a new exercise to practice, so we usually all get in that stance and practice it so you know what to do. There's a really cool feature about in the beginning taking a 20-minute walk every day and then doing your exercises. So they're supposed to be logging that. I'd be lying if I said we're really good about logging. So it's definitely something we want to improve on. But this is something we try to do almost every time we do family basket time. This is something that I have been wanting to get through for a long time. For whatever reason, we haven't always stuck to it, but we love it and enjoy it. It's just something I'm not as consistent with as I need to be. And it is Spanish, and it is flip-flop Spanish. And we, like I said, really enjoy it. We are currently on lesson 10. We actually started it all over again because it had been a while since we had done it. So we're going through it all over again. There are 45 lessons. It's meant to, she even says in it, like, it can take you a couple years to get through. So it's really fun. There's cards that go with it. I just put them in a card holder. And we really enjoy it. And the kids all have their Spanish notebook where they write their phrases in. The younger one, he colors something and, tries to copy what the big kids are doing. But anyway, Flip-Flop Spanish, highly recommend it. It's great. It's fun. It says it's recommended for ages, is it 3 to 99 or something like that? It's a cute little thing. But anyway, we really enjoy this. A lot of the times it only happens once a month, to be quite honest. Our schedule was kind of crazy this year, especially with co-op and different things like that. So we didn't always do family basket time. There was a lot of weeks that it didn't happen at all. So I want to improve on that because, like I said, it is our favorite part. It's my favorite part, especially for as our homeschool. So we're going to improve that over the summer. That's definitely something I can say that we're pretty good at, is over the summer we get a little more consistent because we school year round, but our academics look a little different. We don't do everything every single day. We usually do math 3 days a week and do a little bit of, English in some capacity twice a week. And then everybody's reading a lot. We play math games and things like that. So it's a lot more lax. But we are able to start our day with a morning basket. Usually during the summertime, it's just kind of a fun way for us as a family to get going and start our day. So hopefully we do that, because in years past, we have not done this in the summer months. I don't have a good reason why, but we always do a family read aloud, and sometimes that's only one book a year. Sometimes it's less than that. Sometimes it's more than that. Just depends what we are reading. We've done the Wild Robot series one year. That was great. We've done different books. Pax was a really memorable one for us. So this year I decided we would be doing Little Pilgrim's Progress. And so we are about halfway into this. So I imagine we will finish this one over the summer as well, because this is something that we can definitely finish up. And like I said, I try to incorporate a good family book that I can read aloud to everybody that they will all enjoy. And if you're wondering, well, what are you doing? What are the kids doing during this time? There's a lot of things about handicrafts and stuff like that. So we try to gather around a big table. Everybody has their notebooking journal, and most of the time they are coloring or drawing something that has to do with whatever it is I am reading about. Now, some things like Flip Flop Spanish or The Living Healthy require them to be doing some sort of work with it. So there's that piece of that. So the other thing we added not that long ago, which I have really liked, I do want to change it up a little bit because I do feel like it's very redundant in the lessons so far, but it is Apologia's Who is God series. And really like it. Like I said, it just seems like it kind of goes on and on about the same thing for a little while. So I want to do a better job of looking through it and figuring out what parts we're going to use and what we're not, because I like open and go. So I don't always pre-read everything or set myself up with some schedule of this is what we're going to read today. And I did get... so this is the book, the textbook. And then I also got one notebooking journal. And the reason I only got one is because I knew that I wanted to do this a little differently. So the kids have their own notebooking journal where I have used this as prompts to tell them what they're going to write in their notebooking journals. And so if you're familiar with this particular curriculum, they have a lot of components in it. I forgot where I was going with that, but anyway, so for example, the what do I believe? So I would tell the kids, I would say, you're going to write your answers or it's in your book. So there's words to, it's not called words to remember. Maybe it is. So they would write like certain words down, like truth and wisdom, and then they would write something that had to do with, or how that applied to the Bible, or what Jesus said about that, or a verse that goes along with that, or something along those lines. So I didn't necessarily want them to feel like they were doing another type of book work. So that's why I chose to do it this style with just one notebooking journal and giving them those prompts. And I recommend doing that way. I think I have no issues with doing it that way. We will continue that for sure. I believe there are 4 books in the series, maybe 3. So as of right now, I do plan to just keep getting the next one and working through it. But like I said, I want to kind of sit down and go through and see, okay, these are the parts we can take out, because I think we're still on lesson 1, maybe lesson 2. It just seemed like, wow, that was a lot for one lesson. And again, just some redundancy. And I do appreciate that it kind of leaves a lot of things up to the parent. It's literally just quoting scripture and it's not deviating from that at all. There are little mini books to create. Like this one was a cute little illusion. I didn't need to get into all the details of all the things, but this was a cute one they put on a pencil. So I just made copies and did that. Don't tell anyone I did that. But anyway, that's how we use that. And then I'm going to show you my favorite. This has been such a blessing. I was looking for something that kind of aligned with our values as a homeschool crunchy family. We tend to be more on the natural holistic side of things, and I wanted something that supported that. I was looking originally for kind of like a health or science curriculum that was more holistic, and I don't know how, but lo and behold, I came across Teach Me Health and Homeopathy, and we fell in love with it. This is the teacher's manual, and each kiddo has their own student book that goes with it, and it is not even though it says workbook, it is not a workbook. It is more of like an activity thing. And so we have absolutely loved this. It comes with Evie and the Secret of Small Things. This is the storybook that goes along with it, and it's all about homeopathic remedies and just different things of learning, like how over-the-counter medications actually suppress symptoms and don't really heal the issue. And so that was exactly what I was looking for, and it taught it in a really great fun way, and the kids have loved it. They have been making their own materia medicas, and we have like 2 lessons left of this to finish. So obviously we'll get that done, and we plan to use here's a sneak preview of next year's morning basket time. We will be using her next series, which is called Evie and the Golden Homestead. So I'm really excited about that, but this was definitely our favorite part of our morning basket time. And so I also wanted to kind of go into how we make Family Basket work when we have a busy schedule. So it honestly doesn't incorporate any of that really. It does incorporate the history. So if we're in the car, we're going to co-op and we have, a 20-something minute car ride to get there, we will play a history related podcast from Real Cool History for Kids. I absolutely love that. It's simple and short enough that, and it just is easy for the kids to comprehend. So we'll listen to one of those, and I'll just look up whatever has to do with the history that we're learning about that week, or even science or something that relates to what we're learning. So I'll put that on, and then we will also do affirmations. That's not something we do at home. I don't really have a good reason why. It just has been something we've done in the car for a long time at this point. So everybody goes through and does their own affirmations. And we play the questions game. In fact, this gets asked to play anytime we're in the car. And this is how it works. I actually read it. I think it was in the book, How to Teach Your Kids Shakespeare. Like when I very first started homeschooling, like 9 years ago. What year is it? Yeah, 9 years ago. So anyway, what you do is you ask a question to the youngest child in the car. And if they don't get it right, they get one chance to get it right. And if they don't, it moves on to the second youngest. And you keep moving up the birth order of your kiddos, and they love it. And sometimes I'm gonna have to start really coming up like with a list of questions. I thought about recording myself on a note, like an audio note on my phone, just to ask these questions. But it can be something like, what's the green stuff in plants called? And I try to make them vary. So I'll say, what shape is 3 sides? Or then I might say, what's the square root of 144? So that, obviously the younger ones can't get those. But anyway, so we try to do that. And that's kind of how we do our family basket time on the go. Some of the other things that we will incorporate into our family basket time is these EBU cards that are really fun for when your kids are a little bit younger. I would say preschool through even upper elementary age. We have I Heard Your Feelings, Good Manners, and What Do I Do? So the way that I use these is I just will say, for example, I'll read the card. Before touching a friend's things, and I'll show them, and then they have to raise their hand and I'll call one of them to answer. And if they get it right, I hand them the card. And we play for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and at the end, whoever has the most cards was the winner. My kids are pretty competitive when it comes to this kind of stuff. They always want to play longer, play a second round. So these are just simple, but these are just, to me, really great for sparking conversations about how to handle social, emotional situations, as well as character building. One of my favorite things is Brain Box. I want to get more of these. I have 2 or 3. So this one is Science and Nature. And the way that you play this is it comes with a bunch of cards. And so for example, since this one says gravity. So basically I'm going to hold the card up to my kids for as long as the timer runs out. I think it's a minute, maybe slightly less. I don't know. It's actually probably like 30 seconds. So I hold this up, I set the timer. When the timer is over, I hide the card. And then whoever's turn it is, and we go in order, just as a circle, they'll roll the dice and whatever number that lands on, so it landed on a 5, then I have a list of questions on the back and I'm gonna read number 5. They have one chance to get that answer correct, and if they don't, that question gets to move on to the next kiddo, and if they get it right, they get the card, and so on. And again, we play for, this one we try to play around 10 minutes, try to do a little bit less than that sometimes. And the one thing that I really like about this is you can actually just pull out the cards that relate to whatever you're studying. So for example, we have another one that's all about geographical location. So when we were studying Africa, I got out all the cards that had to do with Africa, or that were countries in Africa. And so we just used those, and we used those for like the 2 weeks that we were working on that study. So that was really great to be able to just kind of pull what we needed and not have the entire box, because there's a ton of cards. If you wanted to really play all of these, I mean, that's a lot. So what's neat is there's so many fun things on these that even if you play it 17 different times, they're not going to remember every little thing on here. They don't have a lot of time to look it over anyway. So yeah, this is definitely, and they have questions that are easier. So for my younger kiddos who maybe can't read, or I only have one who's not fully reading it, I would ask him like, what color is the gymnast leotard? You know, so things that don't have to be reader friendly. But for the most part, most of the questions are for kids who can read. It actually says ages 8 and up. And I like this game a lot because it's no prep. And again, simple. You can play with 1 kiddo, you can play with 7 kiddos. So one of the other books that we like to use is this series, What Should Darla Do? We also have What Should Danny Do? And it's really, I know there's several of these kinds of books out there, but as you go through, you're going to ask a question to the kids and they get to answer what that character is going to do. And so then you go to the next page, and she's always making either a really wise choice or a really bad choice. And so then we get to talk about that. So yeah, this again kind of qualifies as character building. So I hope that you found this helpful and that you can take away something from it. I'd love to know what you all do in your family basket time and see if there's anything I can pick up from that, because I am definitely getting excited for the new school year and all the new things that we plan to add.